Hello, Dr. Helmut Flash here with Flashpoint, and hopefully I can deliver a little point which might be of help to you. So, Mr. Dentist, Mr. Doctor, and any other business person and or person, of course, but we work with doctors for 35 years. We work with dentists for 35 years. Help them improving their practice, help them to make more money, help them to have more free time and have a less stressful life. Have a cake and eat it too. So, let's talk about the goal maker in life, the goal maker in a practice, and how important the goal maker is, and how little most of you dentists, most business owners, and most people, period, are goal makers. And a goal maker, we can also look at him as a leader. Okay? So a leader is a goal maker is a leader. As we know, leaders kind of like they dream up plans, they put strategy together, they have ideas, and then other people follow those ideas, those directions, those goals, whatever it was. Okay, so that's why goal maker, leader, use whatever word you want to use. For right now, I will most of the time use the word goal maker. In a company and in overall life, there are three kind of positions, three kind of levels of thing. There's the goal maker at the very top, and he's supposed to create, as we just said, the goal of where to go, what to do in the big picture frame. Then comes the manager. That's the guy who runs the everyday operation. If you go to big companies, the chairman of the board, or kind of like, the big CEO, and then you have the financial CEO. You have the people below they manage, the everyday operation manager, kind of like at Microsoft, it was Bill Gates was the goal maker kind of, and Steve Ballmer, his, second in, he was the operational manager, managing the day-to-day operation. And then you have the worker. That's the guy who fixes the wheel, welds the thing. In a dental office, it would be the guy who pulls the tooth and puts the implant in it and that type of stuff. So let's look at this for a second. You're in your dental practice, whether you have one or two doctors working for you, whether you're alone or, in most cases, you are the one who puts in the implant, pulls the tooth, blah, 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 which means you are the worker. Then you try to manage the place a little bit. You try to give the direction, hey, the schedule, what is it? And yes, you may have an office manager who usually isn't quite as usually, okay, isn't quite as manager as like a lone standing manager where you say nothing and do nothing and the whole thing runs. You're usually still part of managing and of checking and etc. Maybe you do your own bill paying and make sure what you order. I mean, you may not do the physical ordering of this thing, but you're still managing. And then you're supposed to plan new stuff, new things. Like how can we put a complete new program together for creating huge amount of impact with new patients? And that may fall a little bit and could be falling a little bit under the manager job. But because you're working and doing root canals, you already have little time to do the manager job and even less time to do the big goal planning job. And of course, the big goal planning job should be including not just your practice. It has to include, as you probably know, your private life. You have a family. Even if you don't have a family, it's still you have a private life. You may be wanting in your dream to do a few other things in life, whatever they might be. Okay? And for it, this is part of the goal, part of the goal maker. You might want to have and should have other businesses, because it is very, very clear the people who concentrate on one business and one business alone for too long, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 and 40 years, like many doctors do, there is something missing. First of all, excitement in the people's life, because after a while, running a dental practice, that's become a little boring, like every other job in the world. And people like to do other things, but that's not even the only thing. That's bad enough, actually. I mean, me, when I get bored and don't get new challenges, new something completely new, and it's not about doing more and doing it better. And that's a small part of growing, a very small part, I might add. It's about coming up with brand new ideas, brand new businesses, even businesses which then maybe do not require your time because, or at least very little of your time. Why? Because you're busy doing root canal, being a worker. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just trying to point it out. There is little time for being a goal maker. Let me give you a little story. When I was about, I would say 20 years old, 22, and I worked in a restaurant in Austria, in a place called St. Wolfgang, beautiful little lake and etc. Me being a mechanical engineer, I went into the hotel business. Why? As a goal maker, all of a sudden I go, mechanical engineering, nice, okay, but it's a little bit of Detroit job. I didn't know what Detroit is. I didn't even know it exists, but that's kind of like now is what it is. And I may be able to change my job once or twice, and that's it. How do I see the world? I all of a sudden, as I graduated, I go, how do I see the world? Surely not being a mechanical engineer, having 2 or 3 weeks vacation and whatever money I get. So going into the hotel business, becoming a waiter was my solution to see the world. And it was one of the absolute best decisions I made as a goal maker. How can I change my thing? Nevertheless, so there I was working in this restaurant, and a client who came 2, 3, 5, 6 times to lunch in a couple weeks' time, or even less time, he says, "Wow, you're always working. You're here. You're working too hard." He said. I go, "Well, no, I don't work too hard. I'm fine," because I was like, "This is what I do," and I had kind of fun. He says, "Hey, that's good that you like it, and it's good, all that stuff, but you're working too hard for the money you make," he said. I go, "I make good money. I make twice as much as a mechanical engineer as being a waiter. I work more hours too, but it's like, I had fun." He says, "I got it. And this is all very, very, very wonderful," the guy said. "I love it. You have the spirit." He says, "You're working too hard for the money you make. While you work, you have no time to make money." Frankly, I didn't get the guy. I mean, it was fine. He was a nice client. He tipped very well, all kinds of things. So I had no problem with it, and I was happy. I didn't let some make this pulling me down of like, oh my God, what's happening? I work too hard. Maybe I get sick or so. No, I kept working hard for many years. It took me a whole bunch of years to actually starting realizing what he meant. It's when I stopped working hard, being a worker, when I worked my way up a little bit more being a manager, and frankly, that doesn't do too much. It does a little bit, but not too much. It gives you a little more free time, not too much. In most companies, I worked for Hilton as big manager. I worked more hours than the waiters and the chefs and whatever. But it gives you a little more flexibility, and yes, it gives you a little more money. Far away. You got to become a goal maker and a goal maker. And once I started becoming more a goal maker than a worker, I'm still doing working. I still do consulting. I still do sales presentations. In fact, if you come to and want to maybe find out more about our program, I'll be pretty much your first person to talk to you an hour and find out. So I'm still working, but I made sure that I have a tremendous amount of time for goal making. And that's when I started realizing, that's where the money is. Having the feet on the table, thinking up a brand new idea, whatever that brand new idea is. It may be connected to what you're doing now. It may not be connected. That's where the fun comes in. That's where the evolution comes in, and also the money. And obviously part of your goal will be that you still have time, that you don't pin yourself down too much. I mean, you're a dentist now, you are chained like hell in most cases to your practice, to your location, you know, in your location, in your time, in your profession. As a goal maker, you probably will want to go out of something which is not taking your time, at least not as much, and at least not after a short while of setting it up. One always needs to push the car a little bit at the beginning, and that's work, but then it's supposed to be rolled down the hill or rolling a period. And once you do this, you know, your life will be beautiful. But if you are too busy at night in the shower or in the morning in the shower, you have a wonderful idea. If you're anything like me, you have wonderful ideas there. And if you're anything like me, 10 minutes later, you don't even know what your idea was. You know you had a good idea, but you don't know anymore what good idea you had. However, that's maybe me getting old. However, in your profession, because you're then so much working, doing root canal, a little bit managing, you have no time to develop, to bloom, to make growing this new idea, because you're spending too little time on goal making, too much time at the bottom of the food chain working or maybe managing, which is very much at the bottom of the chain. There's a huge difference. So, doctor, give us a call. Try to find out how we can help you to grow your practice and to have more free time, and to make extra incomes which do not require your time, which go with the time of today, the internet age, the digital age, the artificial intelligent age. Ladies and gentlemen, it isn't so difficult. The work of that shit is done by workers. They're all over the world. You just need to become a goal maker. Give us a call. If you do not sign up with us, you are in a major majority, but you will also be in a major majority of people who would say, I loved this 1 hour conversation. I liked it. I found a lots of food for thought. I got lots of little ideas. I will work on them. They will need to sink in my head, but it was enlightening. You will pretty much, almost 400% sure, be part of those people. So give us a call. We will not pressure you into a sale, even though we want your business. We will first talk. This first hour, we will never attempt to get your credit card. It's a talk about can we help you, and you in return, do I want that help? And only then we look whether we have another conversation and maybe another one down the road, okay? We have been here 35 years. If you talk to us in the next few weeks and don't sign up and want to talk to us a few weeks and a few months later again because you need to let it sink in, we'll probably still be here, okay? So give us a call. Bye-bye.